All right, welcome to this episode of The Hours. I get to hang out with Claire today as Mark was supposed to be traveling, then wasn't traveling. But either way, we get the benefit of hanging out with Claire. Many of you do know Claire. She's been around since the very start and inception of SAVI. So, Claire, welcome back again.
Glad to still be here 4 years later.
4 years. Yeah, so I think I started SAVI maybe it's 4 plus years. I was actually speaking with a basketball coach recently that just asked like where my passions lie now. As I think many of you know, I have multiple businesses, not all in basketball. And he asked, he's like, man, do you ever miss PGC, Point Guard College, which was such a huge part of both Claire's and my basketball journey and just like life journey, as many of my deepest friendships originated there as well. And I said, you know what, I don't miss the work at all. I miss the people, but I don't miss the work. And for me, the work was running basketball camps, the nearly identical same 5 day experience over and over and over again. I think by like the last count, by the end of it, I had run maybe like 170 of these camps, 5 day camps, which is very rewarding, but just mentally and physically exhausting. And I wanted to have a bigger impact. Like I'd have a big impact with these athletes, but then I didn't feel like I was greatly impacting the game or the culture. And so I really was drawn to coaching coaches because all of you that are listening, I mean, the ripple effect of your impact is so great. Every year, you know, 20 to 40 individuals, you are one of the most influential voices in their life for that year or series of years. Then those people go on most likely to be the next generation of coaches. And so if you do that for 10, 15, 20 years, the ripple effect of your coaching impact, you are establishing the culture. And so what really inspired me and what made me want to work with coaches instead of athletes was I feel like that's where the impact can be made. Can I influence the influencers, lead the leaders, the ones that are impacting the culture? And so that's why I'm doing this, and why I found Claire and found Mark to come help us do this. So we're just really humbled that you're listening, that you're a part of SAVI, hopefully, if not now in the future. So that's why I'm doing this. Claire, why are you doing this?
Similar reason, honestly. I mean, before I even go into me, I just want to speak to your impact across the board. Like the amount of athletes you were able to impact through PGC is unmatched. And I think that has its own ripple effect. But am very honored and proud to be a part of the SAVI coaching tree, which we've talked about, of like establishing those roots, but then having these branches of coaches kind of jut off of us is really fun to see. And I think building something that has that depth and breadth is what really kind of convinced me to be a part of it. Like seeing the potential of that and the ripple effect is super, super rewarding. So, I mean, I always tell people the story of Kevin Krieger. Shout out to Kevin, one of our longtime members, of him mailing us a piece of their championship net. And as much as sometimes I do miss being part of a particular team, a singular team where I'm in the gym every day with a set of athletes, I feel like I am part of our SAVI team and the broader teams that we get to work with. So it's fun. I get to learn every day. I get to have an impact across the globe. So I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah. And I mean, Claire, I'll celebrate you. I mean, the impact you're having with coaches that I don't even know about or get to observe. As you shared, you got to be on with a college coach, I think in the last couple of days, onboarding them as a new SAVI member. And I mean, you've coached in college, but you're now coaching college coaches into our approach and SAVI systems. It's really cool. And so really we want to dive into like the big question today of as you're a coach on this coaching journey, how do you decide where to have your impact? What school do you coach for? What team do you coach? What program do you coach? When is it time to move on? When is it time to move up? When is it time to move out? These are questions that the coaches that we support and consult with are asking themselves all the time. We'll give a couple of examples and then we'll dive into Claire's specific opportunity right now. As cat out of the bag, Claire's just offered a college coaching position. In fact, all three of our primary voices on SAVI, myself, Mark, and Claire, have all been offered college coaching jobs within the last week. And so like this is a very real experience and decision that if you're on this coaching journey is a huge part of coaching. It's not just what you do with your team in the gym. It's not just what you do leading your program. Like your journey is deciding where to do it. I mean, many people are attempting to move up the coaching ladder is, up is oftentimes seen as like a bigger school for more money with more visibility to win more games on a bigger stage, right? Which, I mean, that's a very real thing. So let me share this one story, then we'll dive into Claire's scenario. I hope that you see yourself in this, and I hope that you can make more savvy decisions in your journey. There's so many stories. One of our savvy coaching members resigned from his high school coaching job, and he resigned for a number of reasons. The greatest reason, he just discovered he didn't really have passion to be the head coach any longer. He had younger kids that were coming up in the youth program. He's like, I only have one chance to coach my kids in youth. He realized he was giving so much time to this thing that he wanted to invest more time in his marriage and relationship. He's like, I've done this basketball coaching thing for 20 years. I'll always be involved in basketball. But from a time standpoint, it's time for me to invest in my family, marriage, children, and actually step away from, and they just won a championship, right? And so he was really examining this and it was hard for him. And we were on the phone talking. It's really cool that, like, I mean, I don't spend hardly any time in person with this coach, but he's been a Savvy member for 3.5 years. And he called me to talk about this which was an extreme honor. And so I just want to like celebrate his decision to actually step down the coaching ladder in order to prioritize what was in line with his values, which was family. I'll put a bow on this. In stepping down, the most successful high school basketball coach in his entire region reached out to him. Someone who's won 500 games, multiple state championships, and said, I've seen what you were doing. I saw that you stepped down. I know why you stepped down. Would you be willing to come on and assist part time with me and show me some of what you've done? And this is a coach that is more successful than he was. And that opportunity just showed up when he actually gave up the seemingly more valuable head job. It fits in with his values. He's able to still have an impact, but he's not the head coach and doesn't have to be there all the time. He can still invest in his family. And so now he is pitching this new program, the powerhouse program in Indiana on Savvy systems. And so I just wanted to like share that really cool story. Like a lot of times when you make decisions that are in line with your values, things will happen that you could have, doors will open that you could have never even thought possible. So just wanted to highlight that. And I'm not going to share the name of that coach because I'm not sure if that's public knowledge yet. We're sharing these stories with you so you can hopefully see yourself in these stories if you're in the midst of making a tough decision now, or you will be in the midst of making a tough coaching decision in the future so that you can make a decision with no regrets. This is the how do you decide when to step up, step down, step out in your coaching journey. Claire, tell us about your current situation.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not the first time, and I'm sure it won't be the last. Like you said, these scenarios go beyond basketball. Like it's just identity based decisions and defining both your values, but also your victories and like what route you want to take in life. I know on last week's episode, you guys were talking about, or rather, you in particular were talking about just like your why. Why are you doing things? Why are you on this call today? Why are you taking meetings? Why are you working with these coaches? And all of that's relevant, yes, to job decisions, but I think every other decision as well. So for me, I have a friend that, congratulations, got the head coaching job out west at a university in Canada. Has been working really hard. I really believe in her potential. Is a huge opportunity for her. And we were catching up, and she was like, "Would you be my assistant coach?" Like, we have a great relationship. I coached her, and then we've kind of coached together in different aspects, and just kind of been along this journey, both teaching and coaching together. And she is someone that I would consider coaching with, because that for me is probably one of the biggest deciding factors in anything I involve myself in, is the people. That for me, no matter what level it is, taking the success or the value or the external accolades out of it, who am I going to be working with? That's going to change what I'm willing to involve myself in. And she is who I would work with. Really believe in like her coaching style, her coaching ability, her values, like all of those things I think would align, and we would have fun together and have an impact. So that's at least a check mark in the favor. But then I really had to sit with myself and say, like, what are my aspirations? One, I know a lot of our coaches ask themselves, do I want to be an assistant coach? Do I want to be a head coach? Even if I'm assistant coach, is that a stepping stone to head coaching positions? For me, again, it's been pretty clear to me since the beginning of my coaching journey that assistant coaching is where I thrive. That's where I really enjoy it, and have never looked at it as being a stepping stone. So that as well, it's a fit. She wants to be the head coach for a long time. I wouldn't be looking to go anywhere from that. So again, a fit is a consideration of just like size of program, the budget that's there, if there is an opportunity to grow into another position. So that was kind of the second point that I considered for myself. But then ultimately, in choosing whether this would be an opportunity that I would want to pursue, it is, what am I valuing in my life right now? And there's probably three things that are there that worked against it. One is flexibility. Like, I thoroughly enjoy having ownership over my time. And as much as I love being involved in programs, and just being a part of that day to day, I value my freedom more. The fact that SAVI has offered me the opportunity to work from different places at different times, with people on my own, is second to none. So that is something that right now I'm not looking to give up, because I've been in the college coaching world. Like, I know it is a lifestyle. It's not just a job. It is, it's your life. Um, so flexibility for one. Then impact, as much as I have loved the impact that I've had in college programs, in singular programs, like I mentioned before, my current situation of our company and building this provides a whole other level of impact that I really value. And then the people as well. As much as my friend is someone that I would want to work with, there's a lot of unknowns of who else would be part of the program. You have to speak to the AD, you have to speak to the other stakeholders in that situation. Whereas right now, the stakeholders in the SAVI situation and the people here are something that I deeply trust, and want to continue growing into. So those were the three that kind of pushed me in the direction of, maybe I will support you from afar. Maybe we can work with you from the SAVI perspective, but not all in on a whole new position and lifestyle.
Yeah, no, very well said. And I really, like I said, I wanted to hear where your head was at on that personally as well. So glad we could just kind of do this in the public forum. That's really what the hours is. It's just like, hey, what if we were just sitting around, spending hours together, getting to know each other? I'll share this, and hopefully this is a of benefit to people. It's been a benefit to me. There's three things that will determine your trajectory in anything, your coaching journey specifically. One, your environment. The environment you choose to put yourself in will influence your trajectory. And so when you're evaluating where you want to coach, think about the environment that you're going to be in. Who are the other coaches in the program? What's the athletic director like? Is there a culture of excellence? Will you be challenged? When you're deciding, should I take a head coaching job at maybe like a more developmental program, or should I take an assistant coaching job with a head coach that I really, really admire? I would always choose to take the assistant job with a leader that you admire. That would be like number one. So the environment that you choose to put yourself in is huge. Okay. Number two, the second thing will really influence the trajectory of your coaching career is going to be the relationships that you develop. I've done the Final Four job hunting meat market thing where every assistant coach or director of operations, video coordinator that wants to like get in the coaching game is like walking around these hotel lobbies with a stack of resumes trying to shake hands with any head coach that might give them a job. They're stuffing resumes under the doors of the head coach's hotel room. Like it's crazy. But here's what I've seen through 20 years being around this thing. The number one reason that a head coach will hire someone to their staff at the college level and at the high school level is relationship. It's just relationship. Like Claire got the job offer because of relationship. People hire people that they trust, that they know. So if you're trying to continue to grow and advance your coaching career, develop deep and authentic relationships, not for what they will get you, but for how you can add value and serve. And I guarantee things will develop out of that. So that would be number two. One is environment, two is relationships, like invest in relationships. Third thing that will really impact the trajectory of your coaching career is mastering your craft. Myself first, but I've just observed this. Young coaches or coaches that maybe aren't young in life, but are young in their coaching career, like early on, think they have the answers and think they know more. And so don't have as much of the beginner's mindset to always be learning. And yet, the most experienced coaches, the ones that are further along on this mastery journey, very much recognize how little they know and are way more inquisitive. And so most coaches that think they've arrived or think they deserve a job because of what they know, that's a sure sign that they don't actually deserve the job. And so I would just encourage all of you, just embrace this mastery journey. Mastery is ever evolving, ever changing, ever learning, ever growing. That mindset, that approach is very attractive to someone that would be hiring you. Whereas a know-it-all mindset, or I've got this mindset, or like I deserve more than no one recognizes my value mindset, that one really turns off someone that would be hiring you. So if you really focus on those three things, I think you'll be shocked and amazed and delighted at the doors that open for you. Choose your environment wisely, develop deep and meaningful relationships that are based on service, and continue to master your craft with the beginner's mind and humility, knowing that you don't know very much. Claire, any other advice you would give to a coach that
So
would want
much.
to grow?
No,
So much.
that was really good stuff, but it did spark some thoughts. Specifically, that last one, like say the know-it-all versus lack of confidence. Like people usually fall somewhere in that spectrum, right? Some go in just imposter syndrome. This I shouldn't even apply. I don't know if this is for me. They get offered it and then they question whether they should take it. That lack of confidence, or the other end of the spectrum, like going in super cocky. But I I want to encourage coaches that whether you get a position or not does not reflect your worth. Yes, use that to motivate you to learn more, to master your craft, to continue on that journey, to reevaluate if it's still what you want, if you're still passionate about it, or if you need to get out. But just as you're looking for the right fit, they are also, no matter what level it is. You may be qualified, but it's just the wrong place, the wrong time. So taking that out of the equation, I think that that scarcity mindset that you spoke to as well, of, oh, I better take this because nothing else will come. Whereas when you get into your values and trust in that process, a lot more things open up actually. So having more of that abundance and not making the decision out of fear, just truly making it out of your identity, is going to lead to the best path, even if it takes longer. And then the fit piece, for me, I feel like I've been super, super blessed with people around me that have encouraged me in, as a player, choose the right fit, no matter where you're going to go play, D1, D2, D3, NAIA, nothing like quitting after high school, whatever it is, even as a player. I felt really confident in making my choice with the college that I chose, to go to a smaller liberal arts school instead of some of the other schools that I was being recruited to that may be more high profile, because it was a better fit. And similarly, yeah, having people around you that reiterate that your defined victories are valuable and do make sense and don't need to make sense to other people. You don't need to be a D1 coach. You don't need to be a college coach to have impact. We see it every single day in the SAVI community. There's dads coaching their 9-year-olds who are having an impact and are successful. There are professional coaches who are miserable and hate their job and hate their life and are not making an impact. So define your victory and chase that. And I think you will be successful in your own right.
Very well said. All right, I think that's a good moment to transfer to segue into a little mailbag. You want to facilitate some of these?
Yeah, there's always questions. One that has been coming up actually just recently in the paid community, our members have been talking about captains, and this is an ongoing conversation. People are really curious about captains council, but the decision to either appoint captains or spend more time developing leaders. So I have some thoughts, but do you have initial thoughts on what's the value between appointing leaders, developing leaders, somewhere in between?
How about you go first?
Ooh, okay. Okay. Because I have personal experience with this. I was appointed captain in my first year of university, which was an honor. It's great. Like, wow, you recognize my leadership. Thank you so much. And that did not go very well. The trust had not been built with my teammates. I don't think the communication was there either from the coach to the upperclassmen of why this is happening, what value I bring, why was I recruited, any of those things. So I'm definitely pro develop leaders, with the caveat that I think there's huge value and opportunity in appointing different captains at different times. Like, hey, this week you are in charge of this thing, the energy, the laundry, whatever it is, whether you want to name them captains or just assigning leadership roles to people at different times so that they have ownership over that. They learn some responsibility and people can look to them to have like a clear go to person for a particular topic. But I think particular roles at particular times, as opposed to the old school captain, you need to listen to this person type of vibe.
I agree with everything you said. Claire, why do you think this keeps coming up, this question, for all the coaches that we consult for? So why do most coaches even consider appointing captains?
They do what they've always done.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be there, right?
Yeah, I would agree. That's it. So then I would ask, why do you care so much, coaches? Right. So I mean, if you actually stop and ask yourself why, and that's really, I think, the heart of what being a savvy coach is know your why. Know your why, know your why. Don't do anything without your why. And when I do get to spend time one on one with coaches, as one of our members yesterday, I jumped on with him real quick, and he's asked some questions about how to develop their feeder program. And every time he asked me a question, I just said, okay, well, why are you even doing this? Like, what are you trying to get out of this? And then once he clarified that, he actually had his own answer, right? But so I would just like like don't assume anything. Most coaches do what they've always done. Most coaches teach how they were taught. So most coaches appoint captains because they were probably a captain themselves, right? And so, but why? Like, why would you even appoint a captain? And I haven't heard a great reason. And so, if there's not a great reason to appoint captains, then put your energy elsewhere into developing leaders. I think it's very different to recognize positive attributes versus develop positive attributes. And appointing captains most of the time just recognizes existing attributes. It doesn't develop the attributes in every player on your team. So I would, but it just keeps coming up, and I just don't think it is that valuable. All right, let me ask you a quick mailbag question as this keeps coming up. And again, if you are not currently a SAVI member, I would invite you to try it out. I mean, all these questions get answered in real time by Mark, Claire, and myself in our SAVI coaching membership. Over 360 members across the world and growing daily. And I'll just be real transparent. Like our goal is we want 500 SAVI coaches across the world by the end of the year. We've seen the impact that it can have in programs, impact from just like success, winning, but also impact like coaches say, you've changed the way I coach. I enjoy it so much more. And like that's what double goal coaching is. Can you have success and enjoy the process more? That's key. Okay, a lot of questions coming up about culture right now, Claire. So one coach basically is just asking, okay, we're into our second year of building culture. The buy-in is there, but there's some things that he's noticed, and this is where I think the captain one first came from. But there's a second one, and it's around assistant coaches. You have been an assistant. You identify as assistant. So this coach is asking, how can I get my assistants more involved in the process? What can they own? And let me ask you, as an assistant, what was some ways that a head coach assigned you things or gave you ownership over things that worked? And what feedback would you give to head coaches to be able to utilize their assistants better?
Yeah, a line up front for sure is the first step with that. Again, why? Why are you bringing this person on to work with your program? It may just because they're a person who offered their assistance. Like, yeah, I recognize that's a real situation that you may not have a bunch of people at your disposal or have exactly who you want, but there still should be a reason why they want to be involved and why you have chosen to get them involved. So aligning on that, and then knowing your strengths, being self aware with that, then assigning other things so that you don't have to focus on it as much. I think I definitely have held some of the more stereotypical assistant roles of like, you are the energy person, you are the relationship person, you are the logistics person. So, those are three examples that I think are great for assistants. It could be one person doing all those three things, but as long as they're clear on that is what their role is to bring. It can be as simple as you own the warm up, you own our shooting section. I really loved your and Mark's conversation about giving up parts of practice that makes you better, that makes your team better, that makes the assistant coach better. Like, give up some of your expertise to just give yourself some space to observe and take it in and develop your assistant coaches. So both an intangible thing that they can be a part of, whether that's energy, logistics, and then also something in practice that they can own, whether you pass off the offense, pass off the defense, pass off the rebounding, pass off the shooting, whatever it is, give those up so that you can give back even more. Yeah, those would be the first two, which actually third one, because we got to stay in threes. And I
Yeah,
knew
rules of three. Yeah. Mhm.
is the establishing standards up front. So if you know your staff ahead of time, that's the ideal situation, and they can be part of the co-creation of the values, the vision, the mission, all of the things we've been talking about in the off-season blueprint. They can be a part of that. you may have your vision, but like if they're going to have buy-in and be disseminating that into the players, they need to be on board, and feel like they've had a part in it as well.
Perfect. Okay, let's end this with game of the week. The first question your team will have to answer at every level is, can we handle pressure? So if yes, then you can move on to other questions. If no, you're going to keep getting pressured, pressed, trapped, whatever. So game of the week right here, this is 2v3 pressure. It works both sides of the basketball. Defensively works our ability to trap and to identify opportunities to hunt passes. Offensively works on your ability to handle the basketball, get open and available for your teammate. This is a live two-way game. We have three defenders here, an on-ball defender, an off-ball defender, and then the third defender is going to be the one that is what we call wall, which is help. Offense is going to be live after the check. The defense is just trying to trap and steal passes. If they get a steal or a turnover, they get to go in transition the other way. They start with the check. So we'll go ahead and just show you a couple of examples here. This is our youth academy, 5th and 6th graders working on it here. So they'll start with the check. I guess already checked. Okay, they're going and they're trapping. So now we have two players trapping the basketball, one player trying to hunt passes. If they get a steal, they get to transition the other way. They get one shot attempt and 7 seconds to score. We flow quickly into the next setup. Same thing, just rotating, work on their communication, so on and so forth. After the check, we're live. Two players trying to trap the basketball, one player trying to go hunt a pass, two players trapping the basketball, one player trying to hunt the pass, going live. If they score, you still rotate. So it's just a continuous 2v3 game, 2 offense versus 3 defense, where they're working on all of these things, applying and handling pressure. We're working on it specifically out of our lock left. Let's see, one more possession. Oh, they stole right off the catch. I love that. Way to go hunt a pass. Beautiful. Okay, so this is 2v3 pressure. Claire, anything you would want to highlight in this game or in small-sided games in general?
I'm excited to talk about this more on our deep dive and live training and our mastermind calls, because a lot of coaches have been up to high school, to college, to different personnel.
Beautiful. Well, that is what we have time for today. I actually get to go jump on live with a couple of coaches right now. Claire, thanks for sharing your expertise. Congratulations on your job offer, and hopefully we gave you guys a little bit more things to think about as you continue to pursue your coaching careers. Until next time, I'm Tyler. This is Claire. Stay savvy.
Stay savvy.